All right, welcome to the FA40 podcast. This is Josh Proch, and I'll be your host today. And it's been a few weeks since we've done one of these. Things have gotten busy here in the gym. We've been had some big wave of new people come in. Tammy and I were on vacation there for a little bit. We've had just some staff on vacations, things like that. So it's been crazy, but it's been a good, couple weeks here. Things have been going good here at the gym. We've seen a lot of people get in, and we're heading into summer now. This is where things tend to slow down a little bit. We see people they're traveling more. They're not getting into the gym as much, but if you guys are traveling, you need some help with things and ideas for how to keep your workouts going, let us know. We've got all sorts of travel programs, things like that. In fact, about a month or so ago, we handed out cards with QR codes on them with workout videos that you can do with like bands, dumbbells, body weight, things like that, just to help all of our members out and things like that. So if you are a member and you didn't get one of those, just let us know and we'll make sure that you get hooked up with that. So for today, what we're going to do a little Q&A. So these are just some questions that I've had people ask over the last couple of weeks, either when I'm working with some of the one-on-one clients I have and just talking with some other members that I see in here. So we're going to go through 3 questions and I'll kind of answer them and explain why and our thought process on things and everything like that. And if you guys have questions, just submit them. You can send them to our the gym email, which is just info@pittsburghnorthfitness.com, and then just put in the subject line FA40 podcast Q&A, and that we'll get that, and then we can answer those questions here on the podcast as well too. So the first question that I got is about speed, quickness, kind of power with clients over 40, and why we train that and how we train that. So, we have a segment in all of our workouts. It's right after our warm up, but before we get into the strength part, and it's called our jump, throw, carry sequence here. And the purpose of that is we do a jump to that's explosive work on the lower body. We do a throw, which is explosive on the upper body, and then we do a carry, which is total body. But the reason we do that is it wakes up and turns on our nervous system, which allows us to be stronger in our workout. But it basically wakes everything up, gets our body ready for what's to come. So we do 2 rounds usually, and the first round you may find, and I know we notice this, is people aren't quite as quick or as explosive or powerful, but then they get that second round and you see that those improve there. And a lot of times when people hear like, oh, we got to jump or we got to throw, they think very high level kind of stuff. And that doesn't have to be the case. It can be, but it depends on the client. For some people, it might be just as quick as like standing on one leg and switching feet, or little forward and back hops or side to side hops, things like that. For more advanced clients, it could be things like squat jumps, broad jumps, box jumps. The same with our throws. Some people will just do medicine ball slams. Some will do chest throws, overhead throws, kettlebell cleans, kettlebell snatches, things like that. And then for the carry, that, there's a lot of different ways that we carry. We look at, farmer's walks are one of our big ones. We can do overhead carries, racked carries. You can go single arms, different things like that. Unbalanced, where we have different weights in each hand. One of my favorites is the chaos carry, where we put a kettlebell through a band and you're holding that band, and as you're walking, it's bouncing a little bit. So you can do that from, farmer's walks work the best way, whether it's 2 or single or an unbalanced load. But I like those, I like the feel of those. But there's a lot of different ways we can carry, and it all depends on the fitness level of the client that we're working with on what we put in there. But why do we do this besides warming the body up? One of the big reasons is as we get older, our bodies age and things like that, we lose speed, quickness, and power even faster than we lose muscle tissue. And a lot of people are familiar with, as they get older, they want to strength train to maintain muscle tissue, but they don't think about strength training to maintain speed and quickness and power. And those carry over into day-to-day things. So the more the quicker we are, the faster our bodies can move, the quicker we are able to react to like our environment around us, situations, whether it's, getting out of the way of like a car that's, comes flying into the parking lot, or catching our balance if we trip over a curb or a step. And the same thing with the power, it allows us to do those things quicker, but it's also like if we have, like, say, a little kid with us and we've got to grab them because they're, that runaway car is coming into the parking lot. We got to, yank them by the shirt or whatever and get them back out of the way real quick. So now not only can we move ourselves fast, but we can move an object quick too. And that's where that power comes into there. Additionally, being able to move quickly and everything keeps our bodies more injury resistant. We're less likely to pull things and have muscle strains and sprains and all that sort of stuff. So it allows us to be more resilient. Statistically, a body that can move quicker and faster tends to be younger and stay younger at the same chronological age than a body that can't. But this doesn't mean that you need to go crazy on this stuff. A little goes a long way. Some people can get really carried away with speed and quickness and power stuff. And there's, some workout programs out there that are all based on that. And that can be detrimental. So, that can actually wear the body down. So a little goes a long way, and you don't need much. Like that, the jump, throw, carry sequence that we do, that's pretty much, going to get it all done. Maybe, we might throw some other things in here and there, but it's a very small but important part of each workout. So that's why we like to include that in there. Another thing to think about too, some people hear about, moving quick and sprint work and stuff like that, and that all plays into here. But one of the problems with sprints with the over 40 clientele, really this could be said for, anyone that hasn't been in an athletic environment for a period of time. So this could be someone in their mid-20s, someone 30s, but if you haven't been sprinting and doing things like that, you don't want to just start out in that. It's a real easy way to pull hamstrings. So instead, we want to start with working on the mechanics of it and maybe doing some like skips and doing some like quick high knee work and things like that for short distances before we, start sprinting. And for some people, sprinting could take, 6 months to get to that point where their body's ready for it. Some people's bodies might never be ready for it, depending on fitness level, injury history, health history, age, all that sort of stuff. But there is one thing that I kind of like. I just call it adult sprints. And what we're doing is we're individually working on the mechanics of it. And what this can be is like a mountain climber where we put with the hands elevated. So we're like on a box or on a bench, and we just kind of run the knees up as fast as we can for like 10 seconds. And then from standing up from there, we just go right into like arm swings and just pumping our arms as fast as we can for about 10 seconds. There would be a break in between those, but we could do 3 or 4 rounds of those. So maybe 10 seconds as fast as you can on the mountain climbers. Then you would let yourself rest, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and then you would do a 10 second of the arm swings, rest 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and you would do, 3 to 5 rounds of that. And that's working the mechanics of the sprint, but it's putting us in a safer position. Another thing that's great for that is sled pushes. Putting a little bit of weight. We don't want to go with a ton of weight, but just a little bit where you have some resistance there, and just pushing that sled as quick as you can. That all works on that speed, quickness, and power there. So that was our first question. Moving on to our second question here. Just had to grab a drink there real quick. Is there a certain time of the day that is better to work out? And this is a tricky answer. It depends, which it seems to be the answer for a lot of questions. But it does depend. It depends on the person. Some people find that they work out better first thing in the morning, some a little bit later in the morning, some in the evening, and all different things there. But statistically, if you wake up, if you're 6 a.m., 7 a.m. wake up, somewhere around like 10 a.m., about 3 hours after you are up is where your body is the strongest at. But, for most people, that's not realistic. 3 hours after you're up, you're in your office at work. So it's most people are working out before work or after work. But you'll find like, I like new people, I'll tell them like, try the morning, try the, the evening or afternoon, see which one feels better for you. If you find that the morning, like, hey, I feel good with that, then all right, we'll do that. And then if you find the evening you feel a little bit better, then do that. And you may find different times of the year. Like I know our early morning people in the summer, it's definitely easier for them getting up. The sun's up, it's warm out, everything like that. Where in the winter, it's a little bit harder. Just because it's cold and it's dark and everything like that. So sometimes you may have to switch, or based around schedules, you may have to switch and things like that. But it's the real answer really comes down to whatever works best for you and whatever way you can get it in. Some people, they do find that if they work out later in the evening, it wakes them up too much and they can't sleep. That can be detrimental because then the sleep's getting affected and things like that. And that isn't ideal. So if that's you, then, again, getting your workout in anywhere is going to be better than not. But if you can get it in a little bit earlier, or maybe in the morning, in that scenario, that would be a little bit better. That being said, when I was asked this question, I kind of started thinking about it a little bit more too. And it kind of took me back to, I think it's one of the books I was reading, but they're talking about, I think it was Jordan. And when he was, in his prime with basketball, he would practice and train at all different times of the day. And the reason for that was he wanted his body to be ready at any time, because with traveling and the time differences, the time zone that he was on, it might be, early in the morning, later at night, different things like that as you're traveling. So having your body completely ready. So that kind of got me thinking, like it probably isn't the worst thing if you can change times every now and then with your workouts, just to give your body a little different challenge. And I think that builds a stronger body, not necessarily in muscle or the amount of weight you can lift, but it keeps your body ready for, what's to come, or stuff like that. So that's just something to kind of think about there. But again, like personally myself, I don't do that. I work out every day in the morning. It's been the same for years. That's just before come into the gym here and for work, I get my workout in, and that works for me. I feel good with that. But that was just something, kind of a side note that I was thinking about there. So, all right, so that'll move us on to question number 3 is these last few months, we've been getting more one-on-one clients, and I've had a few people ask me, well, why would someone want one-on-one versus a semi-private? And that's a good question, because they're both very similar. We have an individualized program for everybody. Everything gets, is adjusted to you, to your level and everything like that. So the obvious difference between one-on-one and the semi-private is our one-on-one is just you and a coach one-on-one. And the semi-private is 6 people to up to 6 people to one coach. So the one-on-one, it's more a coaching intensive. So, we're watching every rep that you're doing. There's just a little bit more focus on your form and how you're doing things like that. The other thing with the one-on-one, there's more flexibility with scheduling. It's basically when's good for you. We will get you in there, between the hours that we're open here and stuff. So you don't have to come to like a scheduled session and things like that. I mean, you still have to schedule your session, but it doesn't have to fit with like our semi-private schedule and things like that. But from a result standpoint, the one-on-one, it can be a client that has an event coming up that is looking to just make a little push for that, and wants some extra focus. A lot of times it's the extra attention, and we're, like I said, we're watching your form, we're looking at the reps, we're tweaking things right away, where sometimes with a couple people you might miss something on a rep or things like that. We might make the adjustment, on the last set or things like that, where with the one-on-one, we're making it a little bit more, we're making it right as it's happening. Also too, there's more opportunity for the client to ask us questions about the things that they're struggling with. There's a little bit of that, there's more of that coaching outside of the gym. So what I mean by that is like, how they were eating today and what they were doing with that and what their struggles are. We can answer those questions in between rest periods and things like that. So it's similar to the semi-private, but it's also completely different, and it's more focused. It's just a higher focus on the client, basically, and just depends what the client is looking for. Some people like one-on-one; they like that privacy. Just not having to work out in a group setting. They like that one-on-one better too. So it's not, one's not better than the other. It's just two different programs. So if you guys are not a member and you've been listening, you've been following our stuff, and you're interested in coming and seeing what we do have a 6-week trial going on right now. It is $299 for the 6 weeks. And that lets you try everything out. You get the semi-private up to 3 times a week. You can come into our boot camps and boxing sessions. You also, we do a starting point. We do a nutrition blueprint, all that good stuff. But that's a good way to kind of try out what we're doing and then see if, we are the gym that you're looking for and the programs, if that's something that's going to work for you. So if you're interested in that, just head on over to our website, which is pittsburghnorthfitness.com. And you'll find that there's a Get Started Now button. You can just complete the form there, and we will schedule an appointment to get you going. So, again, I thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you here next week. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and rate and review us.